welcome back to my channel. It's 2021 and we're still in a pandemic. Germany is still in a lockdown situation as many other countries worldwide are. And so I thought I could do the 20 customers quarantine questions by So Loud, which I will link, of course. And while I'm doing this, I try to prepare my pattern for the next project. Basically, I prepare my fabric to cut it. It's the Hamilton Spencer that you probably heard of. I will link it also down below and it's for a good cause, so please check it out. This is actually the second time I'm doing the questionnaire because I have a new mic and I found out it has an on-off button after I answered all these questions. So lesson learned. I think let's start with the question. What was your first costume? Bonus if you share an embarrassing photo. I will share a photo, I will put it here. My first costume was inspired by Lord of the Rings, totally Lord of the Rings nerd, and I fell in love with the movies back then and I needed to have a dress like the elves. Big sleeves, flowy dress, and yeah, that was my first dress. I fell in love with sewing, I fell in love with costumes and I never looked back. What is your favorite costume you've made, or what costume are you most proud of? I think that is my Padme picnic costume from Star Wars Episode 2. I embroidered it for over half of a year and it was the first costume I got approved by the Rebel Legion. I got into the Rebel Legion with this costume, so I'm still very proud of it. Although I know every craftsperson says it, but there are so many things that I know I would do different today, but that's how it is. You would do things different now, but I'm still very proud of this costume. I don't wear it that much because it's very... what's the word? Because it's very fragile. What costume do you dream of making? That's not really a specific character or specific time period, but I really would love to make a convincing historic costume. I don't think my costumes are bad and I don't think my costumes are totally off, but I really would love to make the one costume that really looks like it came from that era with a time machine. What is a sewing task you love versus a sewing task you hate? I love all the detail stuff, piping or fancy top stitching. I hate fitting. It's not easy to do it on my own. I don't have a dress form that's really my size or my proportion actually. I plan to make one of these bootstrap dress forms where you type in all your measurements and proportion stuff and they give you a pattern where you can sew your own dress form and you stuff it and hopefully it has your measurements then. I plan to make one of these. Would you rather sew wool or silk? Silk. Would you rather go to a themed event or pick your own theme event? I think the first one. I think when all people wearing the same era or the same universe like Star Wars, you can have conversations about this specific topic and yeah, I would go for that. Would you rather attend a big ball or an intimate dinner? Big ball for sure. That would be awesome to go to a big ball in costume. Do you prefer to machine sew or hand sew? I like both. I do most of the things by machine. Hems and stuff I will do by hand and I have no problem to work a lot by hand. I like it, but I cannot choose. Do you like wigs, hair pieces or your own hair? My hair is not in a natural color and even if it was long, it's very fine. So I usually go for wigs and hair pieces. When I wear my Rey costumes from Star Wars, I used to use my own hair, which is not possible right now because it's shorter and it's blue. But if I wear her again, I think I will go for a wig. Name 5 small businesses you love for costume things. I go for Poppy Ray Vintage, which is a vintage and sewing supply online shop here based here in Berlin. Wearing History for patterns. I used them for many years. Then Red Threaded for stays and corsets. Although I don't have one of them, I heard only good things and I have patterns from them. Black snail patterns are nice. Nihilinia fabrics, I hope I say that right. Link it down below for costuming supplies like corset stuff and also patterns. Name 5 YouTubers we should all check out. Oh, that's a hard question. There are so many amazing people out there. If I have to choose, I would always say Angela Clayton, because she was the first one I started following for costuming stuff. Then there's a fairly new channel which is called Costuming in Color, which I really like, who introduces people of color from the costuming world. There's a channel called Daisy Victoria. She makes really nice fantasy-inspired dresses, historical dresses. Then there's another channel from Germany, Ruffles and Steam. She makes steampunk outfits. The Closet Historian, which is also a channel that I like. She does mostly vintage-inspired clothing, but she also did some costumes, and I really like her. My favorite color, I like green. I love green, as you probably noticed when you look at my hair. Pearls or sparkles, I will 100% go for sparkle. Never enough sparkle. What is a costume trip you've dreamed of taking? You know, I'm based in Germany. Costume college is a nice thing, but it's also very far away and therefore very expensive. For Europe, costuming ball would be awesome. In period fashion, of course. Favorite cocktail? This is pina colada. Who is a customer you'd love to meet? I would say every customer. I love to get to know people who share my hobby, of course. If I have to name one of the well-known costuming community, I would say Angela Clayton. I just like her, she's cute, she's so funny, I like her humor, and she's super talented. Would be awesome to meet. Plain or patterned? Plain. Use a pattern or make your own. I use existing patterns and use them to create my own. I think draping would be something that I really would like to learn a little bit more about. What is your favorite era to wear? So I don't have many historical costumes. I have a few, so I don't have the experience of many eras. I would say my medieval dress is the most comfortable, so I go for that. My favorite era to make? Same, because I'm only starting to venture into more eras, and so I stay with the medieval for that, and hopefully at the end of the year I will have a lot more, because I have plans. What is the one thing we don't know about you? I hated sewing in school. We had a class in school where we learned to sew and some cooking and stuff, and I hated working on the sewing machine back then. I don't know why, maybe it was the age. I only started sewing when Lord of the Rings was in the cinemas, and also if you get older you get wiser, and you realize sewing is actually very nice. So that's it. 20 questions are answered. I hope to be back with more videos this year. I have some plans, but we will see what the year will bring. And until then, bye bye!